Woke up this morning, feeling lonely on my bed, and I'm so alone here, feeling over sad. Was a half man, half an hour. Wasn't half man. Woke up this
Hello,
morning.
welcome to the Bridgewater Triangle. We are in Fall River, Massachusetts, at the bottom of the triangle. It is the site of the Lizzie Borden house. Everyone knows the story of Miss Borden. Her father was very rich, but also, he was the stingiest man in the triangle. He fed his family scraps, beaks and claws and rancid mutton. One time, he made the whole household sick when he fed them week-old, rotten meat. A few hours later, Miss Lizzie Borden went to the cellar to sharpen an axe. Soon after, someone, I'll name no names, took that axe that Lizzie sharpened and gave her mother 40 whacks. And when that was done, someone, I'll mention no names, gave her father 40 whacks. This is not so clunky. Speaking for the Bill Russo YouTube channel, and for the Short Story Theatre podcast. I'm here today, to bring you some new information, about the infamous murder of Andrew Borden, and his second wife, Abby Durfee Gray Borden. Ah, but you say, wait a minute, not so?
Lizzie Borden was taken to court in 1892 for the murders of her father and Mrs. Borden.
True. True. So, how can I have anything new in a murder case from more than 120 years ago? Well, what I have that is new concerns Lizzie Borden's second house. Yes. The fashionable mansion called Maplecroft. She bought it, and moved in, after being released from the jail in Taunton, where she was locked up for more than a year before being quickly acquitted in a trial that lasted just 2 weeks. Lizzie used to like saying that she was held in the Taunton State Hospital. But that's just another Lizzie lie. She was held without bail, in the old Taunton jail. But when she slipped the knot on the noose, and was let out of the Taunton jail, she inherited half of her father's fortune. And she went right out and bought Maplecroft. And what we have to tell you in this episode is new information, obtained by this channel from one of the recent owners of Maplecroft. Maplecroft, which may be even more haunted than the blood-drenched property on 2nd Street, where stingy old Andrew and second wife Abby. Yes, Maplecroft. Maplecroft. After she and her sister Emma each got half of their murdered father's multi-million-dollar estate,
Lizzie changed her name and her house. She became, instead of Lizzie, Lisbeth.
and she got rid of her father's old house that didn't even have a bathroom, and bought a huge mansion in the hillside district, where she had always tried without success to get her father to move the family. She called her new mansion Maplecroft.
She even had the name etched in granite at the top step leading to the 7-bedroom home, with 3 1/2 bathrooms.
I told you I have some new information on the Borden case to share with you, and I will get to it shortly. But first let's talk a bit more about that second house, Maplecroft. She moved into the house with her sister Emma in 1893. The old maid sisters squabbled for years, until finally in 1905, Emma left Maplecroft for good, and went to live on her own. I don't believe the two sisters ever spoke to each other again. Lizzie stayed on in the lonely mansion all by herself. She was shunned by her neighbors, and indeed by the whole city of Fall River. She was accused a number of times of shoplifting, but she was never arrested for the crimes. She may have bought her way out of her troubles. Money, of course, was never a problem, since she was a millionaire several times over. She stayed in Maplecroft, all alone, except for a number of servants, who were the closest thing she had to friends. Rumor has it that the servants were loyal to Elizabeth Borden, most likely because she showered money on them. It is said that they were the highest paid servants in all of New England. Yes, life was lonely for poor old Elizabeth in that big, old mansion where she was surrounded by suspicion and doubt. She was lonely in the big, old living room. She was lonely in her bed.
There was no halfman in her bed. No halfman in the house. Nobody. Not another soul.
Except that handful of people that she paid to be her companions, if not her friends. I am back in the parlor at Maplecroft, in the hills of Fall River. And now,
let's get to those new details of the Borden case I told you would be forthcoming.
Flashback just a few years ago, to the village of South Dennis, on Cape Cod, where our author Bill Russo retired, some years ago. One summer, not long ago, a new neighbor moved into a seaside cottage next door to Bill's place. It turns out that she was a fairly affluent businesswoman from Fall River. That is not too remarkable. But what was remarkable was that she had just fled from Maplecroft. She left rather quickly after purchasing Maplecroft for a very large sum of money. Yes, the lady was, at the time, the most recent owner of Maplecroft. And she had some fascinating tales that she shared with our author.
Hey, not so. Let me jump in for a minute. Hi, folks. I'm Bill Russo, and I just want to clarify a few facts. What we are about to tell you is based on my interviews with the former owner of Maplecroft, as well as from other sources. Now, I make no claim that what follows is 100% true, but I am reporting it as it was told to me or as I read about it in my studies of Maplecroft. So with that disclaimer, we take you now back to the upstairs parlor at Maplecroft in Fall River and our short story theater reporter, Not So Clanky. Back to you, Not So.
Thank you, Bill. To protect the privacy of the former owner of Maplecroft, we are not going to reveal her real name. We shall instead call her Maplecroft of Maplecroft. When Maplecroft moved into Maplecroft, she knew that it was the home of Lizzie Borden, but the home itself was not especially well known at the time. Most of the focus around the Borden case has always been on Lizzie's first house, where someone,
I will reveal no names, murdered her father.
But beginning with the residents of Maplecroft at Maplecroft, and continuing right up to the present day, Maplecroft has been the scene of some mystifying happenings. Almost as soon as she moved in, Maplecroft began to see things. Floating orbs of light appeared from nowhere, and they slowly floated across the room. Stopping sometimes for a minute or more, they remained motionless. All noises seemed to stop. No street noises, and no noises from inside the house, made for a perfect vacuum. And those silent orbs stayed in the parlor sometimes for hours. They never harmed anything or anyone. She tried to touch one of the orbs and her hand slid right through it. But after seeing them night after night, Maplecroft began to become unsettled. After a while, Maplecroft got used to the floating orbs of Maplecroft. They fascinated her, instead of bothering her. For months, Maplecroft saw no other paranormal activity in Maplecroft. But later on, she began seeing the shadowy figure of a woman. The image was hazy, but Mabel could tell that the figure was that of a fairly attractive young woman of about 32 or 33 years of age. She was a well-formed woman wearing a frilly white blouse with a very modest collar that almost fully covered her throat. Over time, the image of the woman became clearer, and Maplecroft knew that the ghostly figure was indeed an exact match of photographs she had seen of Lizzie Borden at the time of her murder trial. Maplecroft said that the ghost of Lizzie Borden never threatened her, and in fact seemed unaware of her presence in the house. But still, Maplecroft became increasingly uncomfortable in Maplecroft, and she quickly put the house on the market and left right away for Cape Cod. The other previous owners of Maplecroft have reported seeing the very same things that Maplecroft saw. Some of them saw even more bizarre things, which we will not go into in this report. Our time is up. In conclusion, we will say this. Maplecroft does appear to be haunted. But the spirits are not mean-spirited. And they have never harmed any resident of Maplecroft. If Lizzie Borden was indeed an axe murderer, she got it out of her system in the old house on 2nd Street, where her father and Mrs. Borden each got 40 whacks from the axe. In her second home, Maplecroft, Lizzie's ghost is well behaved and would make an ideal companion for anyone wishing to spend some time in a haunted house. Oh, by the way,
the most recent owners of Maplecroft have left the mansion, and they have put it on the market for just $890,000. It would make a great bed and breakfast. The monthly payment would only be $4,000. How about you, dear listener? Wanna buy a ghost house?
Contact a real estate broker in Fall River for more information. Good luck, and happy house haunting.
Woke up this morning.
Our theme music is by Lobo Logo. It is called Halfmen, and it is available for free from the Free Music Archive. Look for the album Candle for You. This has been Lizzie Borden, Life After 80 Whacks. Written and directed by Bill Russo. Dylan Roberts was your narrator. If you like the show, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and to our podcast, which is called Bill Russo's Short Story Theatre. This is Basil Nightingale saying, thanks for being with us. Drop us a line if you have a story you'd like us to consider. And finally, thanks for being with us, and come back again real soon. Won't you?